This is the story of a police officer who was suspended for some time due to a mistake. He has a guilt in his heart which he does not tell anyone about. Currently he is working at an emergency call center where he got a call from a girl which changed his whole life. The name of this police officer is Joe, who works in the night shift at 911 IE Emergency Call Center. Joe was suspended because he made a mistake during his duty. Due to this, a case is going on against him from which he wants to be free as soon as possible. Tomorrow is his last hearing in the court. If he is proved innocent, then he can work as a police officer again. His wife also left Joe due to this mistake. Joe also has a daughter whom his wife took with her, and she does not even let Joe meet his daughter. At this time Joe's life was going through a lot of difficulties. Dick reporter calls him again and again because she wants to know about Joe, but he does not tell her anything because Joe did not want to expose his case in front of the world. Now Joe calls his wife to talk to his daughter, but his wife does not pick up the call, so he got busy with his work. Now Joe got a call from a woman, Emily, whose way of talking was very strange. Now she was talking as if Joe is her son. Now at first he did not understand, but then he ignored it because he has become used to such calls. Often people used to make such calls to joke, but Joe noticed one thing, that the woman's voice seemed as if she was very sad. He was about to hang up when he heard a man's voice from behind who asks Emily to hang up. This made Joe think that Emily has been kidnapped. He also asks her whether she has been kidnapped, to which Emily replies yes. Then Joe tells her, "Okay, listen to me. Whatever I ask you, answer yes or no." He asked Emily a lot of questions, which made him realize that she has been kidnapped by someone close to her, and now he has to save Emily, who traces her number and sees her location. He finds out that the kidnapper is taking her out of the city through a highway in a white van. He puts Emily's call on hold and calls the police patrolling team and tells them everything about Emily. Then his wife's call started coming, but he did not receive it because he has to save Emily at any cost. He then asked Emily a lot of questions, but this time Emily uttered a word which made the kidnapper realize that she has called someone else and not her son. Now before the call ends, Joe tells her that the next time you call 911, tell her that I want to talk to Joe so that you do not have to tell all your details to any other officer. And then Emily disconnects the call. Now although Joe's work was completed here, he was still worried about Emily. He was repeatedly checking her location. Along with that, the police officers who were patrolling on the highway also find a white van. But this van was wrong. Emily is not visible in it. There were many other white-colored vans passing on the highway, and if they have to find Emily, then they should know the number of the van. Joe felt very bad about this because he wants to save Emily because Emily's number had come to him, so he takes out all the details of Emily and also her house number on which Joe calls. Then Emily's 6-year-old daughter picks up the call and Joe starts talking to her. The girl tells that only me and my younger brother are at home. Dad had come and took mom with him. Joe asks her dad's name. Then the girl tells the name Henry. She also remembered her dad's number, which she gives to Joe. Then Joe finds out the number of his car from that number. Also, he came to know that many cases have been filed against Henry earlier also. Now since the children were alone at home, Joe was also worried about them, so he told the girl that you don't worry, daughter, I will send someone to you soon. Now after hanging up the phone, Joe gives the van's number to the highway patrolling team. Then he calls his department and says that if the children are alone at home, then someone should be sent there to help them. But all the rescue teams were busy because there was a fire at one place, due to which people had to leave their homes, and all the rescue teams were busy helping them. Once again the reporter called, but this time also the one who did not pick up the call was very worried. He was unable to understand what to do. He went to another room from where he called his friend Sergeant and said that I want you to make a team and send it to Emily's house because her children are alone. And form another team and send them to Henry's house where he is going to take Emily. On this the sergeant explains him that this is illegal and we cannot do this secretly, and tomorrow is your hearing also. If you do something wrong again, then your case will be against you once again. Who tells him that anyway my shift is about to end. I am leaving from here in 10 minutes. Saying this, he hangs up the phone. He calls Emily's number once again, but this time his call is not connected. He calls his wife. She picks up the phone, but she disconnects the call, saying that it is 2 o'clock in the night. You should not have called so late in the night, who is very tensed about Emily, so he calls Henry from his personal number. He starts asking him about Emily. Henry says, I do not know anything about her. On this, Joe says, I know you are taking your wife from the highway to the city through the van. Hearing this, without saying anything, Henry disconnects the phone, who calls her once again, but the call is not connected now. Now Joe calls his colleague, who is very upset because he had to give false testimony for Joe in the court tomorrow. He says that if someone comes to know that I am giving false testimony, then I can lose my job. On this, Joe explained to him that nothing like this will happen, you should not worry. Now Joe tells him everything about Emily's case and says that I want you to go to Emily's house so that you can get more information about this case. Then an officer comes in, tells Joe that there is a call from a little girl for you. He understood that it is Emily's daughter, so he quickly talks to her. The girl tells that there is someone outside the house who is ringing the doorbell. Joe tells that yes son, it is a police team that I have sent, you open the door. The girl did the same. Then the police team comes inside and tells Joe that there is blood on the child's clothes, but it is not his blood but his brother's, who is very young, but someone attacked him with a knife and the child died. Actually, the child had earlier told Joe that my brother is sleeping, his brother. Actually, he was not sleeping at that time, rather he was dead. Hearing this, Joe gets very upset and calls Emily once again. This time the call is connected. Joe asks, what is Henry doing at this time and where are you sitting? Emily tells him that he is driving the car and I am sitting on the seat next to him. Joe asks, tell me, is he wearing a seat belt? Emily says no. Joe says, first of all, wear a seat belt and then pull the handbrake. Emily does the same, but the van does not turn over. Henry gets angry at this and sends Emily to the back seat of the van. Now she again starts talking to Joe. Joe asks, is there any heavy thing around you? Emily tells him that, yes, there is an ant lying here. He says that whenever Henry comes close to you, hit his head with the ant because he deserves this. Emily says, why is Henry so angry? I had just taken out the snakes from my son's tree, after which he becomes silent. Joe does not understand anything. He is very surprised and tells Emily to tell me everything openly. Then Emily says, mine. The son was crying since morning, he was having pain in his stomach. I thought that there is a snake in his stomach, so I cut his stomach with a knife and took out the snake, after which he became completely silent. Now hearing this, Joe sat down holding his head because he understood that there is no fault of her husband Henry in this, the whole fault is of Emily because she killed her son and Henry took her from the house so that he does not kill his daughter too. On the other hand, when Henry came to Emily, she attacks him with an ant. Obviously Joe had told her to do so. After doing this she runs away and Joe, who is listening to all this on the phone, realized his mistake, that he was the one who told her so, and now Joe gets a call from that friend of his whom he had asked to go to Emily's house. He tells Joe that Emily's mental balance is not right. Earlier she was in a mental hospital, but Henry did not have enough money to get her brain treated. That's why he brought her home, and now when the matter has gone out of control, that is, Emily has taken her son's life, so Henry is taking her away from the house. By now Joe has understood that Henry is taking her to a mental hospital, so now he calls Henry, whose head is bleeding, but he only cares about his daughter. Joe realizes his mistake, that if he had not interfered in their matter, Henry would have taken her to a mental hospital by now. He tries to call Emily, but she does not receive the call. When she does not do so, an officer comes and tells her that there is a call from a woman named Emily for her. Although Joe's duty time was over, he continues his duty, because now he has to correct his mistake. He wanted to help Henry by any means. He talks to Emily, who tells him that right now I am on a bridge on the highway. There is blood on my clothes. Do you know whose blood is this? But Joe does not answer. Now during the conversation, Emily remembers that this is my son's blood. She says that I have killed my own child. I regret this. So now I have no right to live. So I am going to jump from this bridge. Joe tells her that you should not do this because there are still many people who love you. It is all my fault. Saying this, tears came to her eyes because in reality it was Joe's mistake. Now he quickly sends the other team to Emily. Till then he has to keep Emily engaged in his talks. He now tells Emily his story and says that I had made a big mistake. 8 months ago during my duty I shot a 19-year-old boy. Tomorrow is my last hearing in the court. I have gathered false witnesses to prove myself innocent. When they testify in my favor, maybe I will be proved innocent and I will get my job back. His wife was also included in those witnesses who does not like him because of this act. This is the reason why she does not want her daughter to talk to Joe or meet him because Joe had done very wrong with that child. Even though he was on duty, he should have controlled his anger. Now in a way, Emily and Joe are both the same. Both of them do not have control over their minds. But now when Emily realized her mistake, she wants to punish herself. But in this case Joe is exactly the opposite. Although he also knows that he has done wrong, but he is resorting to lies to prove himself innocent. While telling all these things, Joe also got emotional and tears came in his eyes. His mind also became a little lighter because for the first time in 8 months, he had told a lie. He had told his story to someone. And now Joe hears the voice of the police because the police had reached Emily. Emily tells him that the police have arrived here. I do not want to get caught by them. I will jump from the bridge, but here Joe disconnects the phone. He was repeatedly regretting his mistake. He calls him many times. Then this time the police picks up the phone. They tell that Emily was about to jump from the bridge but we caught her before that. Hearing this Joe gets a little relieved. Along with this Joe was told that luckily Emily's son is also alive, although he is very injured but he has been sent to the ICU. Hearing this Joe felt very good that today 2 people's lives have been saved because of me. Along with this he also realized that if I did good to this family, then I had done wrong to that family, the boy whom I had killed 8 months ago. In a way I ruined the life of all of them. Joe now realizes his mistake. That is why he calls his colleague and says that tomorrow you should not give false testimony in my favor. Joe tells him the truth about whatever happened. His colleague says, you know, if I do this, you will not get your job back, you may also go to jail. Joe says that it does not matter to me now. After this, he calls all the witnesses and says that no one needs to give false testimony. He also calls the reporter who used to call Joe repeatedly to know his story, and today he tells her everything truthfully. Now the next day, when his hearing was in the court, obviously the decision comes against him and he gets punished. But now the guilt has completely gone from his heart. He is happy. There is a satisfaction in his heart that today I took the help of truth, and with this the story of this film ends here.